You've been in Gaza until recently. How important is Al Jazeera's coverage to the people there?
Al Jazeera has been with us for many decades now. My generation and the generation before me and after me, part of our culture, Al Jazeera is ingrained in it. It basically helped model our culture, our way of thinking, how we looked to the outside world. It also molded the vision of the outside world towards what's happening in the Arab, in the Muslim world, and especially in Gaza and Palestine. And right now, while I was in Gaza, Al Jazeera was the main outlet for the people in Gaza to listen to the news, especially through the different radio frequencies that were given to the civilians that didn't have access to either television or the internet. Mm-hmm. So right now, hearing about this news, definitely I think will hurt the people on the ground in Gaza, especially those wanting to get their voices out. However, I am sure that the ingenuity of the people of Gaza, together with Al Jazeera's team on the ground, will always find a solution to tell the story how it is from Gaza and other places around the world.
Daniel, the geopolitical context is very important. Watching the media coverage, we have to remind our viewers there are just very few media outlets operating in Gaza. How crucial was that coverage in shaping your perception to what is happening on the ground and how significant it is beyond?
It's extremely important. I mean, Al Jazeera gave a voice to those that didn't have a voice. You have to also remember that inside Israel, there's a very big Arab Palestinian population who did not leave their homes in 1948 and 1967, who rely on Al Jazeera, and who we have many relatives there that need Al Jazeera to ensure that their stories are being told. The people in Gaza, like I said, all the time they are on their radios listening to Al Jazeera and their coverage from inside their occupied lands and what is happening in the West Bank and in Gaza. Al Jazeera is extremely, extremely important, again, when it comes to shifting the mentality of not only the inside world in the Muslim or Arab world, but internationally. I think it ranks there in the top 1, 2, or 3 TV broadcast stations. So right now, the most heated place, the place that is changing history now, is the occupied land in Palestine. And attempting another time to try and ban Al Jazeera there is just another facade. It's another way to show that the democratic nation of the Zionist state and its case for them supporting human rights and freedom of speech, again, is another lie, and is going to continue to work against them as they try to propagate their lies towards the world.
Daniel, you've spoken about the... Mansour, you're an activist, citizen journalist. Give us an idea about the challenges that journalists would go through on a daily basis just to cover a simple story for their viewers, domestically and globally.
Yes, while I was in Gaza, in both Al-Shifa and Nasser Hospital, like you said, I became a citizen journalist, reporting the news on different TV networks, radio stations, doing a lot of social media content on different platforms, and I interacted with dozens of journalists and social media influencers. They are all working in the most difficult and most dangerous areas, I think, in the world right now. There is no safe place in Gaza. And if you are holding in your hand any piece of technology, even if it is switched off, it can be tracked and you can be targeted. You have to understand that these journalists have families, have homes there, and many have lost their relatives, their loved ones, all their wealth. They've lost their residence. They're living in tents. They're living on the pavements. They're living inside ruined refugee schools and hospitals. In order to try to get an internet connection to get their media out, they have to have eSIMs, and they have to go through dangerous areas on different elevations and different remote locations in order to access a signal and try to get the message out, the video, the voice message, the text out to the world in a very dangerous situation. Many people, every day, whenever we met in the morning, we never knew if we would see each other at night, similar to what happened, for example, with the son of Wa'il al-Dahdouh, who we met in the morning, and we prayed our farewell prayers on him later during the evening. Similar to many other journalists who lost family members on one day, and the next day they came back and said, look, whatever they throw at us, we're going to continue. This is our strive, our struggle towards freedom, not only for Palestine, but for the whole world.
Daniel, what is Netanyahu trying to achieve? It's no secret he doesn't want to have any peace deal signed here in Doha. He's a big fan of having the announcement made elsewhere. Number two, he's been extremely critical to deter the journalists operating in Gaza from continuing the work if they see the pattern of threats ongoing?
Not at all. It'll actually fuel them to even work further and be more strong and firm on their mission. I actually feel bad for the Israeli journalists, because I'm seeing that their country right now's values are being demolished, and slowly, they are internally crumbling. And honestly, once slowly the values that your country is supposedly built on start to eradicate, then you need to be scared about the future for you and the generations to come. So I think that the ball is in the court of the Israelis and the Israeli public opinion as well, and Israeli journalism. Do they want to see this the beginning of the crumble of so-called democracy in their society?
Daniel.